So welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. For those of you that I haven't met in person, my name is Rachel Hirschman, and I'm the Wellness Coordinator here in District 6, starting my sixth school year, I think, sixth school year. And so really happy you're all here tonight and looking forward to a great night together to kick off Worksite Wellness here in District 6. Just wanted to start off with our Worksite Wellness Committee, and we have a couple of members here tonight, so wanted to make sure that they introduce themselves. And the Worksite Wellness Committee meets monthly to plan our programming for the year, and we have a pretty good cross-section of various departments across the district. So we'll go ahead and start. Katie, do you want to start?
I'm Katie Kanarsik. This is weird. I'm the wellness specialist for the district.
Joel Krzan, I'm account executive at Aetna.
My name's Katie Dotson, and I'm a wellness consultant with Aetna.
Linda Dolan, I'm a broker with Flood & Peterson.
We have some additional folks that couldn't be here tonight, like from finance and risk management, various different departments across the district. And then for all of you, we would love to ideally individually introduce all of you, but that would take quite a lot of time. So instead we're going to do a partner share. So just partner up with somebody that you have not met before and share those few bullet points there: name, location, job title, and why you became a wellness champ. And then we'll share out a couple examples. So go ahead and buddy up. We'll give 5 minutes or so.
Being the wellness champ is a lot of fun. I learn things every time I come here. So, oh, I'm sorry. I'm Carolyn Jones. I'm at Jefferson High School.
Anyone else want to share? Jen? I did not want to be on TV. What's that?
Sure, I'll share. I'd share, but I don't want to be on TV. So I am Jen Gross. I'm at Montfort, and I'm a second grade teacher this year, and I've just had some really great positive experiences with the Worksite Wellness myself, so I just want to share the news and information to my staff as well.
Thanks. Yeah, appreciate it. Anyone else? Sure. All right. We will move on then. Just a brief overview of the agenda, just so you know what's coming tonight, and you do have an agenda in your folders. We'll talk about the mission and vision, review some accomplishments from last year, talk about your role as the wellness champion. We'll have dinner. We have dinner from Chipotle over there. And then we'll talk about our plan of events for the 2019-20 school year, just so that you're clear, so that you're able to then promote it with your staff at your school. We'll specifically go into some mental health resources. We'll talk about WellBeats, which is our new program for this year that we're really excited about. If we have time, we'll hopefully be doing a group activity, and then we kind of have some random miscellaneous other updates that we'll provide as well. And I will send these slides out tomorrow, so you don't have to feel like you're writing everything down. Objectives, again, won't read these to you, but ultimately want to make sure that you understand the mission and vision of D6 Worksite Wellness, kind of the why, and then understand your role in all of this, and that you're able to, again, promote and explain the programs to people at your site, since you'll be their main source of contact about these programs, giving you the opportunity to network with each other and share ideas and get excited about Worksite Wellness. So this is our mission and vision. Mission being that District 6 staff will motivate, cultivate, and journey with one another in well-being. Vision, creating lifelong, healthy, engaged, and high-performing role models for our students and community. So that's really bringing in that piece of student achievement, and why we're all here being part of a school district is ultimately for student achievement, and we need great role models in order for students to be able to achieve their best as well. This is a flyer that hopefully you've seen before. It was in the folders at convocation, but just kind of reviewing some of the accomplishments from last year, and really just wanted to say thank you to all of you that were wellness champs last year or otherwise involved and had a role in helping this program to succeed and get these great numbers and impact across the district. This is a word cloud that we've done the last couple years. Whenever we ask on the, you might remember on the intra-survey culture audit that we do every spring, we ask, what is your professional and or personal kind of purpose statement? And so people share those, and then we come up with this word cloud that the larger words are the most frequently used. And so just thinking about, again, kind of our role in supporting each other so that we can be at our best for our students, our families, and community. So your valued role as a wellness champion, on the back of your agenda, which is in your folders, there is a copy of the job description, which hopefully you've seen before. Hopefully those things won't come as a surprise, but won't read that to you or anything here, but just wanted to kind of pull out some specific pieces. Communication really being the biggest one, because you are the point of contact for people at your site whenever they might have a worksite wellness question. We can't send all user emails, and as you know, people don't always read their emails, so really you're the in-person contact at your site. So really we need you to communicate the programs out, because I'll send it to you, and the idea is then you communicate it out to your staff. So it's always frustrating when I hear from somebody at a site that they're like, I've never heard of this program before, or I never got this email, which maybe they did get the email, but they don't read their emails, who knows. But just please do make sure to be promoting the programs. And then role modeling is just participation. So really it's expected that all the worksite wellness champions are signed up for all of our programs, because if you're not signed up for the programs, how are you going to best be able to promote them amongst your staff? And I understand things happen that you aren't always able to participate, but most of the time it's expected that you will be able to. Another piece on communication is just making sure that people at your site even know that you're the Worksite Wellness Champion. So I know Megan at Madison always does a great job at the beginning of each year just explaining, sending out an email to staff and saying, hey, just so you know, I'm the Worksite Wellness Champion. Here's kind of my role. I'm also the Student Wellness Team Leader, because many of you are also in that role. Here's the difference between the two roles, and just letting them know, hey, I'm here for you if you have any questions. Another thing is advocating for wellness at your site. So one example from a few years ago, I was talking to one of our wellness champions through our key informant interviews that we've done, and she was saying how she was unhappy with kind of the food environment in the staff break room and whatnot. And the structure she had at her school was that staff kind of paid into this bucket of money, and then there was a committee that kind of was in charge of staff recognition or staff birthdays, things like that. So I don't know how common that is at other schools, but she was like, I'm paying into this bucket of money, and it's all this like unhealthy food that they're buying with this money. And so I'm paying in, and then I'm not even wanting to eat this food. And I see some of you nodding your heads because this might be the situation at your school. And so what she ended up doing was she worked with the committee and said, hey, can we kind of send out a survey to staff and see what sort of food would you want at this staff celebration event, and get some feedback on that. And it turns out that many people were saying, yeah, we'd love to have a healthy option as well. So she was able to kind of turn that around, that school environment issue at her site, because she took the initiative to do that. So that's just an example of something that you could do to be an advocate and change things at your site. And then collaborating with student wellness. So an example I like to share on this one was that a student, I don't remember if it was student wellness team leader or worksite wellness champion, or she might have served both roles, but she was telling me about parents bringing in cupcakes and et cetera, for birthday parties, and then the leftovers from that were all going to the staff break room. So it was kind of a double whammy of unhealthy student parties on the student wellness side, and then staff being bombarded with this stuff when they're coming into the staff break room. So that was something that she was going to work with her student wellness team leader on, how can we kind of address this together as a joint wellness group. And so definitely make sure that you know who your student wellness team leader is at your site, and Katie or myself can help you with that as well if you're not aware of who it is and how you can collaborate there. So now I want to let Joel from Aetna come up and invite him to speak on this topic as well.
Thanks, everybody. Nice to be here today. Actually, a real privilege to be here. I'm just the face of about 8,000 people at Aetna that do nothing but work with schools and counties and school districts. So I get to do this, and this is a lot of fun. If you ever hear Dr. Wallace talk from the health department, one of the stories he likes to tell sometimes to set the tone of why he gets out of bed every day is a particular country he visited in Africa, and I'll butcher the details, but here's the punchline. Instead of greeting each other down the street and saying, hey, what's up, how you doing, the little head nods, they utter a phrase that translates to, and how are our children today? And he just reflected on what kind of a culture and focus when optimistically towards the future we're focused, but nothing on what's that next generation going to be like. And being healthy and being a healthy role model yourself is a big part in kind of that next generation. So before we even get into the details of any of this, just thanks for what you do for our kids. Coming from 4 generations of educators, mom, brother, grandparents on each side. I know how hard it can be, but I just thank you for what you do. So I majored in statistics and I minored in dodgeball. Back in my day, you could play dodgeball with a volleyball, and the bigger the welt. Anyway, so one of the things, correlation, causation, and as I was getting ready for today's talk today, I looked at think tanks, Duke Integrative Medicine. I'm a Michigan guy, not a big Duke fan, but smart people at Duke, right? Everybody had a different secret sauce for how to design the best wellness program. How do you optimize it? And everybody takes a different approach, right? Some of it's like program design, and leadership's got to do these. Like there were all these different things, right? Intrinsic motivators, extrinsic motivators. Everybody had a philosophy, but like literally the one common thread in every one of them was that things don't get off the ground if there aren't passionate people that are accessible, fun, advocating, proactive, planted throughout whether it's geography, locations, you name it, based on whatever industry it is, that showed up in everybody's. So literally this stuff doesn't happen without what you do. But the science would show that, and more so, Rachel mentioned the culture audit. We do a lot of these and these challenges, right? You see these kind of post surveys, and one of the ways you get a prize is like, did you do this? And there's a way to like kind of comment about it. Well, we get those things anonymously, and sometimes we laugh our tails off, but most of the time we actually get choked up in there when we review those things and hear the impact that the nutrition piece had. Not a dry eye in the room when we were reading the gratitude ones and what that did for people. So y'all are changing people's lives. It's a really important job. And as we get into some of the other agenda items today, we talk about behavioral health resources, those kinds of things. Creating that culture of it's normal and okay to talk about stuff and or being approachable so people feel comfortable kind of asking you things, those little interactions go a long way. So think about making your table bigger. If you're comfortable, maybe tenured, if you're comfortable kind of nudging your leaders at the building to model things with you, just be that advocate in your buildings, because making your table bigger and getting those other leaders to model and finding additional leaders at each of your sites it really is the secret sauce. So thanks for what you do. Those of you, I'm seeing a lot of new faces this year. I've done this is 3 or 4 years in a row, and a couple familiar faces, but a lot of folks that are new. So one of the perks, we'll be sending you guys a goodie bag. It'll have yoga mats and track bags and maybe a duffel. We'll see what's in the piece this year, but it'll also have a thumb drive with health information, health calendars, resources, how to get to Teladoc, what the mobile app can do for people. So that'll be a nice resource for you to have, just to be able to be that. Feel like when people come to you, it's like, okay, gosh, am I really armed to answer these questions? And of course, not every question's in bounds, but for those that are, we want you to A, say thank you, and B, have a lot of information at your fingertips. So with that, I think that's it.
Thank you, Joel. Really appreciate those words. Any questions? And I'll talk more about the WellBeats program later, but that's going to be kind of our launch is with WellBeats, and specifically we want to pilot it with all of you before rolling it out to the entire district, just to make sure there's not any huge issues that we need to work through. Another new item that we want to launch this month is monthly cooking classes. So that's something that every year in our interest survey, people indicate interest in, but we haven't really been able to offer it in the past. So we do, in our nutrition services department, have 5 registered dietitians, and so they'll be leading this class along with our dietetic interns. So great opportunity for our dietetic interns to do some nutrition education and cooking practice. So later this month, we'll be sending out kind of an interest survey and getting people signed up for that monthly cooking class, but it will probably be here in this building since we have that nice big central production kitchen. So stay tuned for that one coming soon. Flu shot clinics, you should all be aware of. I sent out the stall talks earlier this week, I think, and through email last week. So I put the dates on there. That one does bleed into October. We'll talk more about those flu shot details in just a moment. Another new program in October is October 10th is actually World Mental Health Awareness Day. So for that one, we're going to really leave it up to you guys of how you want to recognize that day, but we'll provide you some different resources. So we have like a mindful tech challenge. Aetna has something called Mind Check. We'll give you those resources. Another thing that I know they do over at Ames is they cover the bathroom mirrors, and I think they do this at some schools too, to kind of promote the self-love and all that good stuff. So we'll give you some templates, and Katie's going to talk about a Google Drive that we'll have available with all of those things ready to go for you. But that's something we want to recognize this year as World Mental Health Awareness Day. And then also we'll launch Well Beats for the entire district, hopefully in October. And so we'll do a little participation challenge with that. So a lot more details on flu shot clinics here. Again, you'll receive these slides because I know it's a lot to take in right now. But the dates are all listed there. The final opportunity will be at the Wellness Fair on November 7th. You should all have the sign-up link. And those of you that have done this in the past know that even if for flu shots at least, if you're not signed up, it's okay. It's just kind of a nice accountability thing for people to be like, well, I signed up, so I'll be there. Whereas if we didn't have that sign up, it's just hasn't worked quite as well. But just so you know, people can still participate if they haven't signed up. And Banner really doesn't pay attention, honestly, to the sign-up sheet. They just do the shots. But it also helps to spread people out a little bit. But just if people are like, all the slots are filled at this certain time, that's the only time I can do it, just tell them it's okay. Like, just show up, it's going to be okay. And likewise for people, I've heard complaints in the past of like, well, I was signed up for 7:50 and I had to wait 5 minutes. It's like, well, like we just do the best that we can, and hopefully nobody has to wait too long. But there is some flexibility there. Also, Banner, as in years past, will be offering Tdap, which is tetanus with the whooping cough. And you only need this one time plus with every pregnancy. So ask employees to check their flu shot record before coming to see if they need that, or the tetanus shot, which you do need every 10 years. Employees should bring their insurance card to the clinic. A lot of times, I don't think Banner actually checks it, but just to make sure that if they're not on district insurance, they will have to pay. And then they'll also be offering those colon cancer home screening kits, which are recommended for everyone age 50 plus without a colonoscopy in the last 10 years. And I did have some people reach out and say like, hey, on the Sign Up Genius, I'd rather not announce to the world that I want a colon cancer home screening kit, so can I not do that and just get this kit? And yes, totally fine. I understand that concern, and Banner will bring the kits to every clinic, so even if they don't put it on the sign-up sheet, that's okay. We're just trying to get an idea of the supplies they'll need, is the other reason that we have that sign-up. And then we do need a minimum of 15 participants per site, so just kind of check in, and I'll be checking in on the sign-up sheet too, but you guys can go to that link at any time and see how many you have signed up, see if you need to give a nudge. And then final notes here, and I know there's a lot going on this slide, but if you do have a new employee without an insurance card, you can call the Aetna customer service, and they can get you that number to make sure that it goes through properly as a claim and they don't end up getting charged for the flu shot. Make sure staff know where in the building the clinic is. So we've had issues with that in the past, especially for the early morning clinics where people will show up and have, especially a big school like Central or something, they have no idea where to go. So just communicating that out, making sure it's a large enough space. So these are all things that have come back on the evaluations each year as people are like, oh, I was crammed into the nurse's office or whatnot. And also with privacy, people prefer to have a private space to get their shot. So again, to the extent that you have control over that, things to keep in mind if possible. Remind staff to wear short sleeves because we will be getting into the colder months when these are taking place. Again, bringing their insurance card and then emailing Roxanne with banner if it's not going to be you that's meeting the flu shot clinic at the site. So if you have one of the 7 a.m. clinics and you're not going to be the one letting them into the building, just give her a heads up so that she knows who the contact will be. And they usually arrive about 30 minutes before clinic start time. So again, if you have that 7 a.m. clinic, make sure someone can let them in at 6:30. Consent forms. So as in years past, Banner gets us some consent forms. It's never enough ahead of time, so I try to split them out as best as I can and send them to you guys ahead of time so that staff can fill it out and just make it more efficient as they go through. But you likely will not get enough, but Banner will bring more to the actual clinic. And if you end up having extras, please bring those as well, because they're those carbon copy sheets, so you can't unfortunately just make copies, and it does cost Banner quite a bit of money to buy them since they're the carbon copies, so you don't want to waste them. And then just always trying to make sure that we do look at the evaluations each year. And one of the things is on last year's evaluation, people were wanting there to be like a little snack or something, because it's exhausting to get your flu shot. But for some people it might be. So we're like, okay, well, we'll kind of go with that theme and provide some vitamin C through cuties. So we'll send out some cuties to your site, probably through if you have a kitchen at your site, we'll probably send it through the kitchen manager. Haven't figured out the details there, but we are planning to send out some little snacks. It's been a comment every year. And there's also always a comment about the type of Band-Aid that's provided. Like, can we get Flintstones Band-Aids or something? Like, okay. I appreciate the humor on the evals. And then also a comment that we've gotten last year was to have the clinic on a PD day so that there's space available. So some schools or sites really have limited space. So we did do that on September 30th there's no students that day. So again, just want you to know that we do try to follow up on those evaluation items. So that kind of takes us, I realized I skipped something maybe in October. No, I guess we covered everything. Okay, so then moving on to November, we will be launching Snack Appeal, a little bit delayed this year, so we won't be launching it until November. And what Snack Appeal is it's kind of a play off of our fresh fruit and vegetable program that you may have at your school, where students at some of these schools get like an afternoon snack, and it's a fresh fruit or vegetable that's delivered to the classroom. So kind of a play off of that, but for staff. And this year we'll be starting off with providing it out all the high schools and the support buildings. But we are looking to possibly expand it beyond that. So what we do is send out fresh fruit or vegetable. We are starting with just once a month, and it's placed in the staff break room. And then again, just working on that environmental piece of making the healthy choice the easy choice. And if it's there, the people will come, the people will eat the item. So I know that's been really popular, and so we'll be continuing that starting in November. Wellness Fair, save the date for November 7th. That's really our big event of the fall semester. It will be at the administration building again. We'll have biometric screenings there. We'll launch our holiday challenge as usual, including blood pressure screens again. That seems to be pretty popular. We're going to do a few different things this year with the holiday challenge. For one, we're going to make sure to market that people can weigh in individually, because we know that is a challenge, is to get your whole team there during those limited weigh-in times. So in the past, it's always kind of been an unwritten rule of like when people reach out and say, hey, I can't be there at the same time as my team, can I weigh in separately? I always say, yeah, that's fine, and we just add the weights together. So we're going to market that more so this year, just to give people more flexibility there. We're also going to do drawing for nutrition consults. So we did that last year after Great Holiday Way. It was kind of an incentive. And this year we're going to try it at the Wellness Fair, so that people can kind of get that guidance through the Great Holiday Way. And we're going to have people sign up if they're interested. to make sure kind of our pool of people actually want that advice from our dietitians here in this department. Other things we're hoping to do is kind of some mini challenges throughout the Great Holiday Way. So just a few different ways to switch it up. And then also new this year is our health risk assessment and biometrics will be tied together. And I think Joel and Katie will talk a little bit more about that, but you'll have to complete both of those in order, and then you'll get a $100 either reward card or contribution to your health risk, or to your, so many acronyms, to your health savings account if you have one set up with the district. So again, we'll talk more about that one, but that one's a little bit different this year. And as always, we'll have a lot of prizes at our wellness fair and great food and all of that. And then in December, our holiday challenge will continue, and we moved the EAP promotion to December this year because the holidays can be stressful for a lot of people. So last year we did it during Heart Month, during February, and kind of had a Love Yourself theme. So this year we'll switch it up a little bit and do it around the holidays. I think if I caught everything there. So biometrics will be happening in November and December. So this is the schedule, which I know is probably hard to read, but shows the locations kind of in the second to last column there on your right, and then the times and the dates. The red dates are the deadline to sign up. So Quest has a 2-week cutoff, and so that's always a bit of a challenge because a lot of times people are wanting to sign up last minute. So if you're a wellness champion at one of these sites, I sent you a calendar invite for that cutoff day, and I think I did it the day before just to give us a little wiggle room. But after that point, it's kind of tricky with walk-ins. Some of you might have experienced this at your site, but it's not ideal. It's much better if people sign up ahead of time because they order a certain number of kits, and it's kind of can turn into a whole thing. But they do try to accept a few walk-ins if possible, but we always try to just have people sign up. Trying to think other notes. Oh, the other things to note, there's only one non-fasting clinic, and that is the wellness fair, because it's at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so we don't want people to fast all day. However, it's always a little tricky with the Quest website. They kind of have an automated system of emails that go out, and in the past, people signed up for the wellness fair get an email, and it says, you need to fast for this. So if they do, I've been trying to get the word out there, you do not have to fast for that clinic. All the rest of them are fasting clinics because they take place in the morning. Does that make sense? Yeah, go ahead.
So you can also make an appointment just to go to Quest inside of Safeway, right?
Yes, okay. I'm glad you brought that up. Yep, so you can do that on the Quest website as well if and still receive the incentive because you'll show up on our incentive report. So that's a great option too if you can't be at one of the on-site. Yeah.
I know last year when I signed up for mine, I didn't have a choice for my time. It just like assigned me a time, and it was literally like the last one. I don't know if they base it upon, I don't know.
So what they do is they are trying to spread people evenly across all the times. Okay. And so even if there's time slots available, but no one has signed up for the later time, then they're going to like force you into that time, which is not ideal, but I don't think we have any control over that. Okay.
It was worse when we had a bottleneck of people when we didn't communicate the walk-in stuff clearly, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of the luck of like when you happen to sign in. Yeah.
It's like a Southwest ticket. Right. Check in 23 hours, you're already. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, and that Carolyn makes a great point. You can sign up for any building. Right. You don't have to be in that certain building. I want to try to look at my notes, see if there's anything else I want to. Oh, minimum of 30 people at each site, too. If there's any less than that, then we have to pay for the unused kits. Anything else, Katie or Joel, that I'm forgetting? I think I have another slide. Oh, that goes into something else.
No, I don't think so. I mean, just the portal. There's automated email reminders, right?
Mm-hmm.
So emails will remind you of your appointment time and all that type of stuff. So just follow the links if you have to reschedule anything like that.
Yeah, definitely.
And hopefully this year for the non-fasting clinic, they won't include the language that says please fast, hopefully.
Hopefully, yes. Yeah, that'd be great. The other thing I wanted to mention if you've participated in past years, you'll already have a sign-in, a login username and password, so you'll have to use that again. Otherwise, there will be instructions of using your insurance card number to get in there. So I know that's tricky for people sometimes. They're like, I put in my insurance card number, it's not letting me in. It's because you already have an account.
Rachel, are you going to send, like you sent out a Sign Up Genius for a screenshot, are you going to send something for us to send to our staff about this?
So it will be through the Quest website. So that one's much more like formal, I would say. And the sign up link, Katie and I were just talking about this. It'll probably open, we think, like end of September.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're still getting that set up, but it'll be actually through their site. It won't be a Sign Up Genius.
Right.
And so they'll have, yep, I'll send you the link. It's just not ready yet. Yeah.
And you send the emails too, right? So that people get the welcome emails.
Right.
People have to go into the link, or are you giving Quest their emails to be able to?
No, people have to go into the link.
Okay.
Yep.
So look for the link, and that
Yeah.
indicates everything, because then we get people's contact information.
Yes, definitely. And again, the incentive is the $100 reward card or HSA contribution, but you have to this year also complete the health risk assessment. So in past years, you just did the biometrics and you got incentive. This year, the incentive's a little larger, but you have to also do the HRA, which Katie and Joel will be showing you how to do that as a reminder.
On those results too, they go right into your HRA, your health risk
Do they?
assessment. Yeah, they'll feed right into your assessment.
Cool.
So you don't have to hold on to that paper, and if you
That's
do
really
your
nice.
assessment after you do your
Mhm.
biometrics, those results will be on that page.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. So you'll just have to go in and answer the other questions then, because there's other questions in that survey, but that's great that you don't have to keep track of that, those results. Yes, so that's this slide here, and you also have this in your folder. If people aren't able to get to the biometric screenings, or if they would just prefer to do this through their primary care provider, we're certainly encouraging that. That's really the best case scenario, is for people to be going to their annual exam with their physician. So the information on here is pretty similar to what's on the sign-off form in your packets there, but they can take this to their doctor, have their doctor just say, yes, they came to their annual exam, and then people can still get the $100 reward card for doing that. So just provide some flexibility as well. And this is kind of just showing the dates. So even if you got your physical done back end of July or something like that, just take the slip back to your doctor, have them sign off. As long as you did it in this fiscal year, so that started July 1st. And then we're giving you until March 31st of 2020 to get that completed and turned into me. And it's just the bottom half of that form, because of course I don't want to know any of your personal information, just that you had it done. And then I'll send that over to finance and they'll get you the incentive. And of course you can't double dip, so you won't get two $100 gift cards if you do the on-site screening and turn this in. It's one or the other. And we're just promoting that because there's a pretty small percentage of employees that are doing their annual exam every year, even though that's included as part of your insurance. So we're really pushing that, and preventive visits, as you know, can catch problems before it's too late. So trying to push that one.
Quest packet you get with all your, it's a great tool for your doc. It's a much more productive primary care exam. Mm-hmm. Here's my numbers. It goes well. So print out what Quest gives you as your feedback. It's a good launch point for that annual exam. So it would encourage you to, when people kind of ask you about all the different options, just say, hey guys, best case scenario, go get your screenings done. Mm-hmm. Bring that to your doctor visit. If anytime within 3 or 4 months, they should be fine with that being kind of your recent set of lab values. So it might save you it'll make your doctor visit more productive, and then save them from ordering another lab potentially as well.
Yeah, that's a great point. Do both of them. Do your on-site screening here, and then take those results to your doctor and still do your annual exam. That's what we're trying to get across. Do your annual exam, please. Any questions so far? Great. So again, emphasizing this change because it is new this year. Completing the health risk assessment and biometrics will get you the $100. And so say you do the on-site clinic in November at the wellness fair, you have until March 31st to do the survey online, the health risk assessment. You just would be waiting longer for your incentive then. So if you have a health savings account set up with the district, that's where your $100 will go. Otherwise, if you're not on district insurance or don't have an HSA set up, you'll get that reward card. Any questions? All right, so now I think Katie's going to come up and it's a little bit hard to see, but walk you through, because Aetna changes their website every now and then, and just want to make sure that you know how to navigate.
Okay. So my name's Katie, if you forgot. I work with Aetna. I'm a wellness consultant, and I'm relatively new, so I'm learning this along with you. It's really fun. So Aetna did get a new website platform, and with that we also have a new Aetna Health app that's on your phone, and I'll talk a little bit about that. But we're really focused on how to find your health risk assessment to take, because you have to do that to get the incentive this year. So that's what we're going to focus on today. So this is what the home page looks like when you log in to your secure member website.
Where is it? How do I get there?
That's what I can't even read it.
Just Aetna.com.
Okay.
Aetna.com.
Oh, that was really easy. He's testing me. I usually don't talk to this many people at once either, so bear with me. So you'll use your username and password. If you don't have one, I think you can register in the bottom right-hand corner over there to create an account, I believe.
All you need is your social for your first login. So if somebody says, "Hey, I've never done this. I've been on insurance for 5 years," we're just waiting for them to come and use their social to get set up.
It's pretty
they'll never
easy.
use their social ever again.
Okay, so once you get logged in, there we go. This is what your homepage looks like, and unfortunately, finding the health risk assessment isn't the most common knowledge thing to do, which is why I'm going over it with you, because people will have questions. So when you get to your homepage, we're going to look for the Stay Healthy tab. You can see the 4 different categories up in the top left-hand corner, which are also helpful resources for you. It will have your medical ID card. You can search for a primary care provider or any other type of care that you need and be able to see if it's in network, which will make it more cost effective for you. And then we're going to focus on the Stay Healthy tab, which is going to have a couple different wellness pieces in there for you to use. Okay. So when you click on the Stay Healthy tab, it doesn't just go to the dashboard and where you can take your HRA. I don't know why, but you have to click on Stay Healthy again, which is what this slide is kind of showing. Again, it's a little bit hard to see. There's different options on there that will take you to a couple different pages, but we're going to click on Stay Healthy once again. And then it brings you to your Stay Healthy dashboard, which is what this is. So on this right-hand side, this is kind of your wellness hub in Aetna. There's maternity support center, so there's some maternity resources through Aetna that we offer that you can share that information as well. And then I can't even read the other ones at the moment, but on the far left-hand side, it says something about activate your health assessment is what it says on there. So discover a healthier you. So that's going to take you to the external sites where you will be able to take your health assessment. I didn't include what the health assessment looks like because I'm not sure if it's the same for you as it is for me, so I didn't want to put wrong information in there. But if you click on that, that will take you to your health assessment.
And Rachel, you'll post these slides so people can.
You can read them when they're close up. Are there any questions about that? Yeah.
Are we doing the journeys again this year? That was always the hard thing to find were those journeys.
So, okay. So the purpose of increasing the incentive for the biometrics and taking the health risk assessment is because we saw a decrease in the completion of the journeys over the past couple of years. So you still have access to the journeys, you just won't get an incentive for taking them. We kind of wanted to try and get more information from the health risk assessment and tie that in with the biometrics information to hopefully collect a larger sample of everybody's health value so I can better help the wellness committee decide on programming So that's kind of the reasoning behind getting rid of the incentive for the journeys and tying it in with the biometrics. So I believe once you take your health risk assessment, it will still guide you to different journeys, which are online health coaching programs. They take about 30 days to complete, and they recommend different journeys based on how you answered your health risk assessment. So if you have high blood pressure, it might lead you to a program to help decrease your blood pressure, or smoking cessation, different things like that. So those are still available. There's just no incentive tied to doing them. So you might get some questions about that, but as we said, we've seen decreasing participation over the past few years, so we're just going to try something different.
And then the well-beats that Rachel interviewed.
Yeah,
so
that's
there's
true.
Always, yeah, so hold that thought of, okay, I've got my numbers, now what's next? The well-beats piece will really be the tool that people use to kind of take action. And they're not 30 days, they're not hard to find.
Yeah. Yep, and they're a little bit more, the WellBeats programs are a little bit more interactive, and Rachel will talk about those a little bit in more detail here in a second. Anything else on the health risk assessment? It's relatively short. It takes about 15 minutes to complete, and hopefully your blood value should upload in there, as we mentioned before, if you have gotten your blood work done. Give it a couple weeks, so if you go in the same day, those results obviously might not be uploaded yet, but they'll hopefully be in there in about 2 weeks to a month, I would guess. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a couple other resources through Aetna that members have access to. And the first one is Teladoc. So Teladoc is it's a virtual way of care, and it saves some people a lot of time, potentially money, and prevents you from having to go into your doctor's office for something minor. I'll give you just a personal example of how I have used it in the past. So I coach volleyball competitively, and we were on a traveling trip, and I had had a cough for the past 3 weeks. I was waiting for it to go away. It just wasn't going away. No really other symptoms. It was just a dry cough. I was fed up of it by the time we were done traveling. So we're sitting in the airport, and I actually called Teladoc. You create a username and password and put in what you need to talk to somebody about. They give you a call back. I think it was within 30 minutes, definitely. Ask you what your symptoms are, and they actually were able to write me a prescription that I could pick up after I landed. So it was ready for me when I got home, which was super convenient. I didn't have to make an appointment for the next day or in the next couple weeks to go in and see somebody about it. They were just able to take care of me virtually. So that was really awesome. So that's on the health care side. We also want to focus on behavioral health and different solutions that people can use to access behavioral health care. And Teladoc has a channel of doing that as well. So it's just a way to virtually talk to somebody, maybe in a little bit more privacy as well, if you don't feel comfortable going to a doctor's office, psychiatrist's office, or anything like that, to talk about behavioral health or have different therapy sessions or things like that. So another way that you can do that is through Teladoc as well. So virtual care is becoming more and more popular, and it's really awesome that we can use that to touch on behavioral health as well. Just gives people another resource to use for that. Anything else on that, Joel? Okay. Okay, I think that, one other thing that I just want to touch on, some of you have heard about the Apple program. Aetna has partnered with Apple to create this app called Attain, and right now they're doing a pilot program, so any Aetna member, you do have to be an Aetna member to access this, but you can download the app called Attain, and you have the option to either earn an Apple Watch through this program, or you can, if you already have an Apple Watch, you can earn gift cards through the program, and the pilot is free, so any Aetna member can sign up while there's space. There's plenty of space, and there probably will be. It's been open since July, and I think there's only 30,000 out of a couple 100,000 slots that have been filled. So basically, it's an interactive way to get people active and just thinking about their health through the Apple products. It is limited right now to Apple users, so you do have to have an iPhone in order to get the Apple Watch as well, or in order to use the program, really. So it basically, a short summary, you choose your own move goal, which is basically calories burned. And if you hit that goal a certain amount of times throughout the week, you'll get bonus points. When you purchase your watch, you link your credit card up to your account. So if you don't hit the 11,000 points per month, then you make a monthly payment of $11 on the watch. And then it's relatively easy to earn points. Not only do you just reach your move goal, it also will give you healthy actions that you can complete. And it will be something as simple as mindfulness is important. Take a deep breath before you start your day or something like that, and you just hit accept, and that gives you points as well. So it's kind of a brief overview. Did you have a question?
I do. Can we just send out the email that we got from Rachel in the spring then? Because I moved to a new school this year, and I got one. But lots of people, when I tell my friends, like, I didn't know about that, I didn't know about that.
Yep.
There are like 6 different schools. So
Yeah, so
send out that same email?
Yeah, I'll resend it too, but I would think that it.
Yeah, nothing has
It's
changed.
the same. Attained by Aetna is where everything is, all the data privacy, all the FAQ, enrolling, it's all there.
Okay.
So yeah, the flyer would still apply. I think
We also got a postcard mail, just like
Nice.
this all, if we have that, so I just got it in the mail.
that I didn't know. That's cool.
That's how I went.
Yeah, so you guys, it didn't have me
But I have an item here.
Assigned you what? Oh, did it?
So you put in like all your
Oh, okay.
stuff, so like your height, your weight, your age.
Gotcha.
I don't know, you put in different things and then
Yeah.
you set your move goal for you.
Okay, so the move.
It hasn't changed.
Gotcha. I don't think mine has either. The move goal is specific to you, though. So it's not necessarily the same as the person sitting next to you. It's all very customized, not customizable, but it's all very specific and individualized to you, which is really cool. And again, the only caveats is that you do have to be an Aetna member in order to sign up for the pilot. And it is only Apple products at this time, so if you have an Android, you won't be able to use the program. So just keep that in mind. Any other questions?
I was just going to do one thing on the app. So who has the Aetna app on their phone? Does it say Aetna Mobile or Aetna Health? Does it say Aetna Mobile or Aetna Health? So yours says Aetna Health, and other people say Aetna Mobile? That's okay. This is not a trick question. Yeah, so we've migrated to that Aetna Health app, as Katie mentioned. Aetna Mobile will be sunset at some point. So you may want to migrate to the Aetna Health app. You don't have to delete Aetna Mobile if you like it, but we are migrating technologies there. So at some point when all of the business moves, Aetna Mobile will be sunset. So just because I know y'all are a go-to, sorry there's so many apps. This is a wellness meeting, not a tech meeting, right? But yeah, Aetna Health is kind of your one-stop health insurance shop, and then Attain that Katie mentioned, obviously we're really proud of, and obviously it's getting some excitement. We're one of 2 companies. Apple's actually let in the lab, and so the only thing I would tell you on the Attain piece is give user feedback. Danielle was an early feedbacker. Did we? Yeah.
I was just checking UPS to see if it was delivered today.
Nice. Yeah, the user feedback's very important, and they're taking it very seriously. I'm talking to those product leads. So anyway, that's final tech plug. Sorry to hijack part of your wellness meeting for tech, Rachel, but.
Great, thanks guys. How many people in here got the watch based on that program? So a couple people, I know I did, and Danielle. So quite a few people have taken advantage of it. I'll make a note to resend, but if you do have the email from last year, feel free to resend that.
If you already have the watch, though, you can get all sorts of gift cards and.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you're not trying to pay off the watch.
Over 24 months, $260 over 24 months.
But you have to have an Apple phone.
Yes, you do have to have an Apple phone to do it. Your fault. I'm sure they've gotten that feedback.
Hi everybody. First of all, I want to apologize for not being here on time today. I had another obligation that took me away. My name is Danielle. I'm the Director of Nutrition, and I want to say thank you for being here, and thank you for being the Worksite Wellness Champs at your buildings. We couldn't do all the stuff that we're doing this year without you guys to push it out to your teams. So really, thank you. I appreciate you. I will say, on the Apple Watch, it totally blows that you can't have one if you're a Droid. For all of the Apple users in the room, Joel is right. I was an early complainer because I signed up right away and I have an Apple Watch, but I wanted to upgrade my Apple Watch a few months into it. So if that is also you, we have figured out a way around that, and we can work with you. I am literally waiting for mine to arrive today. Like, I think I have to be home to sign for it, which is why I don't have it right now. But all of the points that I have been earning since we rolled this out in April, I think April is when I downloaded it, all of my points will transfer over to my new watch. So I'm already like, I don't know, 45,000 points into paying off my new Apple Watch that should be at my house when I get home tonight. So I really do think that we can really drive some of our users, some of our teammates, and some of our building friends to do this, even if they aren't participating in district wellness programs. This is a great way to motivate people to get out there and be active.
Can I share just really quickly, because I didn't know about it, and I don't know that maybe it wasn't sent to everyone, but anyway, I was all excited about it. And so at the Leadership Institute, I was telling a group of people, and this gal, and I just thought it was really neat. She's not very active, and I kind of had to like talk her into it. I said, they're really neat, you really like one. She did it, and she told me the first week of school, she goes, this stupid watch on Friday. I wasn't at my points yet, so instead of getting a beer, I went for a walk. There you go.
That's a wellness win. That's a huge wellness win. This thing. I tell you, no. No. 42 years old, hadn't hit it last night, took the dog for a walk at 8:30 at night. I don't do that unless the watch tells me to get up and move. So thank you again. I'm going to sneak out of here and go to my next thing. I just wanted to take the opportunity to say how much I appreciate you guys. For the first time ever, I signed up. I am technically the Worksite Wellness Champ for the Service Center. So I get to experience what you guys get to experience. So let's really collaborate with one another and help figure out how we can execute these programs in a way that is meaningful to all of our staff. Thank you. Thanks, Rich.
Thanks, Danielle.
I have one other question.
Yeah, go for it.
So I've had mine since May, and my points keep rolling over, and it's nice because then I go to the next month and it deducts, but then I still have, like this month I have 17,000 already, and it just started on Monday. But if I wanted to, I could go and spend those on gift cards, right?
Yes, that's my understanding.
And then you just have to, so the question was, if you earn the points, you can spend them on gift cards, but then you're going to have to pay your $11 for your watch. It's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. You can either apply it towards the watch or spend them on stuff.
But if you have extra points, you could do both. Is that what you're asking? Yeah,
If
I think so.
For the month, but then I spent the
Yeah, it'll,
Yes.
on.
everyone will get capped out at roughly $270 over 2 years. So the total value of the watch is about $270, and then you could do $270 in gift cards. So yeah, you wouldn't be able to necessarily double dip and get like $600, but yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad that came up because it's obviously a very popular topic. And just wanted to finish out our schedule of events for the year quickly here and move into the spring semester. So in January, of course, our holiday challenge will be ending. Something new that I didn't mention is, again, every year in that interest survey culture audit, people want gym memberships as an incentive. So this year we're going to try, as long as there's not some barriers that we don't know about yet, to provide a gym membership as one of the prizes for the Great Holiday Way. So that's something new this year. And then in February, a new thing is 5210 is now 5210 Plus. So they've added sleep on at the end here, 9 or more hours of sleep, which I know seems crazy. Again, this program is geared towards youth, a lot of it, so I think that's where they came up with the 9 hours. But for the staff portion of it, we'll just be in general promoting sleep, not necessarily that it has to be 9 hours. So we're going to be a little bit more flexible on the staff side. Something else that people were saying is really hard for them is to get the 1 hour of physical activity every day. And so we're going to promote it as 1 workout per day. So if you can get 30 minutes in or something like that, that's going to count as well. But it'll be that same structure of if you're at an elementary school that's participating, you'll participate in that way with your students, and then for the other sites we'll have another form that you can fill out to get an incentive. And then going into March, we're moving our gratitude program, trying to move it earlier in the year, so that we're planning to do in March. Planning to do Spring Break Steps Challenge again, and then that HRA and biometrics promotional period will end at the end of March. And then finally, we'll wrap the school year up with, as usual, our interest survey and culture audit in April. And then in May, something we want to try new this year is kind of a summer send-off. And this will be Champ's Choice. So a few things we thought about were like healthy popsicles, or I don't remember our other one. Oh, infused water was the other one that we thought of. So we're going to leave it up to you and provide resources as we can, but just kind of sending our employees off into the summer with something special. So now I'm going to let Katie talk about kind of a new thing we're offering to give you some more power to have wellness champion-led programming at your site.
Okay, so as Rachel mentioned, we want to give you guys some more freedom with your wellness program. So of course we have these district-led ones, but you guys know your sites better than we do. You guys know what you're passionate about as well. So if Rachel and I and our wellness team, we're all really passionate about it, but it's not something that you guys are really that excited about, it's not going to get your team as excited either. So we want you guys to pick things that you're really excited about that you can push out. So if that's a steps challenge, if that's a nutrition challenge, if that's a gratitude challenge, you guys know your sites. So we're going to pull it up on the Google Drive and do just kind of a walkthrough. It's still in the very beginning stages of us putting it together, but I did want to show you kind of what it will look like eventually. So if you're in your drive, in your shared drive, and the Worksite Wellness Champions shared drive there, and then you go to Champ-led programming, there will be more in here, but this is where we're at right now. And it'll be like, some of them are just categories like physical activity programs. If you love physical activity, you choose that, or nutrition, or mental health programs. And within that, there will be specific challenges. And then, of course, there's some that we're running at the district level that inside these folders, there's just a little bit more that you guys can do with your sites if you're really passionate about it. So the one that I've worked on the most is 5210 plus, so we'll just go through that one together. And as Rachel mentioned, this is a student wellness program, or that's how it started, and we're expanding it to staff, or we've expanded it to staff. So here's the staff log with where they can track it, and then the instructions for the student challenge, some of the tips for the student challenge that will apply to Worksite as well. And in every single folder, there will be an about document. So if you open up that about document, it's going to have a program overview. It's going to have a timeline that you could follow if you want. You don't have to, but you could. It has some implementation ideas that you could follow if you want. And then it has some sample emails that you could use if you want, but not if you don't want to. So this is really a way to make it super easy for you, that you can just copy and paste it into an email, send it out. You could follow the timeline. Or if you want to make it a little bit different, you're welcome to do that as well. These are just kind of guidelines. So that's the About page. If you go back to the folder, every single one is also going to have resources that you can share with your staff. So if you click on that, this one's a little different because it's broken up into 5210 plus, but let's go to 9+ hours of sleep. So if you click on that one, it'll come up with tons of evidence-based resources that I found that you can just attach in an email, send it out, you could print it out, you could post it, just to make it super easy for you guys. Again, use them if you want, don't if you don't. But for example, there's what's a good one? How to get a better night's sleep. So if you click on that, it's going to pop up with an infographic that you could put on your Facebook page. I know it's very tiny, but just with some sleep hygiene tips that you could send out. So maybe for this means sending out a different one every week of the 5210 plus or 5210 plus challenge, or it's every day. Maybe on Mondays you do the 5, on Tuesdays you do the 2, whatever works for you. But we just wanted to give you guys the resources to give to your staff based on what they're interested in. And some of the folders even have some fun memes that I found, because you get into this little rabbit hole once you're looking up some stuff. So that is the Champ-led programming. Does anyone have any questions about that?
Do you have that drive shared with us? I'm looking at my shared drive.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure.
Yeah.
I'll make sure to get you the current list of champions.
Yeah, that sounds good.
You'll get an invite.
Yeah, and we'll let you know as soon as this is all ready to go and updated. Also, for the ones that are district-wide that you guys just have the freedom to do a little bit more with, we can send these out when we're like, hey, 5210 plus challenge is here. Here's the log sheet, and here's the folder so that it's right there that you could just click on it and pull out whatever you want. Any other questions?
So, for example, another example for 5210 plus, if you're like, I want to do this during the Great Holiday Way as kind of a little extra push, you could use these resources at that time, outside of that February challenge.
Cool.
Out of here. Thanks. See, that's what's so weird is it doesn't show up. Look at my slides here. So again, just trying to empower you guys to do what works for your site. If people get excited about a step challenge, I think Prairie Heights, I don't think she's here tonight, but they always do one during state testing time, for example. So we're just providing you kind of something that's ready to go, a little toolkit that you can just plug and play pretty much. Any questions on that? Right, we'll move into some mental health resources quickly. So we were so excited when Dr. Pilch at Convocation talked about the EAP and mentioned wellness. It was felt like a huge win to have that support from the top. So just wanted to give you a few additional things here to have handy for a rainy day and to be that resource for people at your site that might like to take advantage of that. So I know you've probably heard a lot about Employee Assistance Program at this point, but wanted to make sure to wrap back around to that and to let you know there's several posters on the table over there. So please do take at least one of those and post it in your staff break room. There's a couple different versions, but all with this general information. So again, the spiel is, and the program includes no cost to employees or anyone in your household for the EAP services, and doesn't matter if you're on district insurance or not. It's available to everyone. And there's a 24-hour crisis hotline that's included on all of these resources. And people can get 3 free in-person sessions kind of for each issue that you have or each concern that you have. And some of the items that they provide assistance on are listed there. And then there are, of course, a lot of online resources as well. And it's things like, how do you create a will? There's all sorts of things that aren't necessarily directly mental health related. There's financial budgeting things as well on there. And the online company code is School District 6. But if you call the phone number, you don't need any sort of code. They'll help you right away. Any questions on EAP? Okay, yeah, definitely make sure to grab some posters on your way out. Some other just local community resources, the UNC Psychological Services Clinic, high quality, low cost, confidential psychological assessment and counseling services for individuals, couples, and families. So this could be a great resource for your kids at your school as well. The fees are on a sliding scale, and they let me know, we don't turn anyone away based on income. But it is typically less than $10 per session, so a very reasonable option there. And I put a flyer in your folder on that, and I've sent it out electronically as well. And then mobile mindfulness kits is something we're excited about this year. This was actually Joel's idea, so shout out to Joel for that. He's like, was it? This was through a grant by HealthLinks, which is a program through the Colorado School of Public Health. And so we wrote a grant to get these kits, and you can see some of the items listed there, and then I have it set up here at the front. But you can check these out for free. There's a flyer in your folders that kind of lists what's all included, and then their request form as well. And so definitely share that out, and several different ways you could use it. We do only have 3 kits available, and there is just one yoga mat, one of each in each kit. But it could be something if someone's like, hey, I want to learn more about mindful eating. We have mindful eating books in there, and then the coloring books that I forgot to mention that at the beginning, but feel free to color as you're listening here. But there's coloring books in there. There's the essential oils with the diffuser, So if people want to check it out, it's a great free way to do that. Any questions on the mobile mindfulness kits? How long can you keep them for? As long as we have one kind of on hand at all times, you can keep it as long as you want, really. We'll probably check back in like in a month or something like that. But yes, yep. So Phyllis in our Science Distribution Center helps us with this, and she has a whole check-in, check-out list to make sure that everything stays in there. And then support for pregnant and new moms. I was asking Michael on benefits for, he didn't know the exact numbers, but he said there's usually at least 60 babies born in District 6 every year. So, and with our employee population being 80% plus female, it's just a support that we want to make sure that people are aware of. Because as you can see, the stat on the bottom there, 1 in 7 women suffer from pregnancy-related depression and anxiety, and it's the most common complication of pregnancy. So this is a resource from the state of Colorado, and they have a bunch of different kind of images like this. One has a bottle on it, and it says, "Don't keep your feelings bottled up." And so there's different things that they have available on this postpartum.net/Colorado, and I put a flyer in your folder on this one as well. So again, just making sure employees at your site are aware that this help is out there.
Have them call us early too, Rachel, get the free press, prompt orders, stuff like that. So it's a good
That's a good point. Yep, great point as well. Make sure that you know the resources available through your health insurance plan. And then also, hopefully you saw at Convocation the flyer about lactation stations that are available at every site. And then finally, Let's Talk Colorado, another one available through the state. And it's a media campaign with the goal to initiate an inclusive conversation. And as it says here, all Coloradoans benefit when we learn to discuss our mental health, and those of us who need treatment are more likely to seek it when we all agree that mental health is everyone's responsibility. So it's really the Let's Talk is kind of their campaign, and they have all sorts of different images like this available on their toolkit. So that'd be something like for that World Mental Health Awareness Day on October 10th, you could push something like this out and post things from the toolkit on that website. So it's just letstalkco.org where you can reach those resources. All right, so now Wellbeats. We keep talking about Wellbeats, but you don't know what it is. So we will get into that next. So I'll take you to the website is probably the easiest way to give you an overview of what it is. So I'll bring that up now. So just wellbeats.com. I'll have to figure out how to get the right screen going here. Okay, good. It's going to be easy for me. So here's the video. here's your intro. So you'll see that it's essentially workout videos on all sorts of different, you could do like a yoga class, kickboxing. I'll show you the portal here in just a second. And they also have kids videos, so those of you teachers, you could use those too. Close that one, close this one, and then get signed into the portal. But over 400 classes, 27 channels, all ages, stages, interests, and abilities. So essentially you can filter, so you can find a class and then say, hey, I want a kickboxing class that's 30 minutes and I want it to be, no equipment, that sort of thing. You can filter by all of those things. So it is a focus on physical activity, but there are some mindfulness videos, and of course, physical activity helps us with stress. Yeah, go ahead.
So is that just a website, or does it have like an app that you can use on a smart TV?
Great question. So it does have an app, and they said there's 9 different platforms you can use it on, so I don't even know what all of those are, but yes, you could pull it up on a TV, I'm sure. And these are the things that we want you guys to test for us before we roll it out. Yeah.
So I'm thinking this would be good if anybody was interested in like getting together with other coworkers, say afterward for like a yoga class.
Totally.
Would it like work with the game boards or
Yes.
things?
I know, yeah, for sure. I've done it with coworkers in this room before. So you can just pull it up, the video up on here and do it. So all employees will have a login, their own individual login. But we'll start with just you guys and you'll get an email from Wellbeats once it's all set up, hopefully in the next week, with your login information. And then you can go in and check it out and try it out on your TV, try it out on the mobile app. And then we want to give you a couple weeks to do that, and then maybe late September we'll ask for your feedback and then launch it probably in October for all employees. And it'll be nice because we can track how many people at each site use it too. So we'll get monthly reports that say, at Shawsheen this many people played the video, or be able to compare to each site. So we can do some fun competitions. And they have all sorts of kind of pre-made challenges available as well. So let me try to get to this portal. So this is what it will look like, and you'll put in password here. So this is really what we're trying instead of the journeys.
So there's no like monthly charge?
There's what was that?
There's no monthly charge or anything like that?
No, all employees will have access to it for free.
Is it something that could be used for like inclement weather?
Yeah, exactly.
Do they have like short little videos too, or is it?
Yes, they do. So once I get logged in here, B5A. Okay. Wasn't able to type it. Okay, let's hope that works. Okay, so then this is what your screen will look like. And you can do this, find a class, you can look at the different channels, there's multiple ways of how to go about it. But then this is where you could say, if you want to do a specific thing, if you wanted to do mindfulness or cycle or whatnot, or you wouldn't even have to choose one of those. You could say, well, I don't really care what it is, but I'm more worried about, like you said, the short term. Like, I want to do something 5 to 15 minutes. So you could do that. And then you can say, no equipment. You could select an age. So if you're doing it with your kiddos, do the younger ages, of course, or usually I just click 18 plus. Channel, so then you can decide even further on that. And then if you decide you like a certain instructor even, you can go there and then just say apply. And then it'll come up with your options. And then there's kind of the more of the stress management, mindfulness items there. So that's your really brief overview. And like I said, you should be getting an email. I'll give you kind of a heads up when we have everything squared away with Wellbeats, but you'll get an email directly from them with your login info, and then I'll just encourage you to try it out for a couple weeks and provide me with any feedback on it before we launch it out to everybody. Any questions so far?
I've just looked up the platform. So Apple TV, 4th generation on Chromecast, or they said HDMI cable like into your tablet. So those are 3 ways to kind of be
Nice. Thank you. Yeah, but we're really excited about it. Like I said, over the summer, I had this demo account, so some coworkers and I have done classes here in this room, and it's just, you know, usually the number one thing that people tell us for why they can't participate is time. So this makes it flexible to where they can do it anytime they want, or if you're traveling, things like that. It's just really anywhere, anytime you can access it. And there's different marketing kits. I wanted to show that to you as well, but they have for each month a different theme. So for September, I think it's yoga. So they have a little calendar already ready to go that you could have a challenge at your site. And then, of course, they have the yoga videos you could use to do yoga every day would be the challenge on that one. It's a 30-day challenge, but they have all those templates ready to go. So I'll connect you with those as well. I think if there's anything else. And they do you can do a fitness assessment at the beginning. Lots of great resources for sure. Okay. So moving along. Sadly, don't have time for a group activity, but I want to give Sarah a chance to talk about our Amazon Smart Snacks. We talked about this last year, but wanted to give a reminder of this resource as well. So this is Sarah, our dietetic intern, one of several that we have right now.
So you probably heard of Smart Snacks. I believe this was implemented in 2014-2015 school year. It applies to a la carte sales, but in addition to that, it also applies to all food sold in school vending machines, food and beverage related fundraisers, and school store beverages and foods. They do have to adhere to some pretty strict nutritional requirements. And if you look up here, we've kind of shown you a few of them. So any food sold in the school district has to be a whole grain rich grain product, or it has to have the first ingredient as a fruit, a vegetable, a dairy product, or a protein food, or be a combination of a food that contains at least a quarter cup of fruit or vegetable. And then we also kind of showed you the nutrient requirements. So calorie limits, snacks have to be less than 200 calories. Entree items are less than 350. There's sodium limits, fat limits, and sugar limits as well. It is interesting to note, though, that the sugar limit is actually on a per weight basis, where the rest of these are either calories or milligrams. And then moving on from that, the nice thing about this is Amazon is actually partnered with the Alliance for the Healthier Generation store, and I went online today to kind of check it out. So you just go into Amazon, and under the search tab, you'll look up Healthy Generation Store, and it's got all sorts of products from breads to jerky to juice, available nationwide. It is free to join, so you could just create an Amazon business account that will allow you to purchase healthy snacks for your meetings and your events. And what we would really like this is this kind of allows you guys peace of mind knowing that the snacks in your break room are actually pretty decent for you. And if you guys act as role models, then you'll hopefully influence the children to kind of follow suit. I think that's about it for me. Any questions about Smart Snacks? So, all right. So I think Katie will kind of take it over from here.
So as Rachel mentioned, we've gotten a lot of feedback that teachers and staff at our sites are really wanting some healthier meetings to help them to continue on and meet their goals. So just wanted to do a reminder of the American Heart Association's Healthy Meeting Best Practices. And again, these slides will come out to you guys after the meeting. But for the food guidelines, trying to serve whole grains whenever possible, offering at least one fruit or vegetable with every meal, especially when there's going to be desserts like for birthdays or post-testing parties or whatever, trying to have fruit instead of a traditional dessert. And that goes along with our student wellness piece, as Rachel mentioned, too. We're trying to encourage that for our students. We're trying to encourage their parents to bring in healthy snacks. So then it's not really fair for, like, no cupcakes, and then they walk by the break room and there's, like, tons of cupcakes. So trying to walk the talk as well. And then serving foods that were cooked using healthier cooking methods rather than bringing in deep-fried chicken wings. You could bring in, like, grilled chicken or steamed broccoli or something like that, just to have those healthier cooking methods. I actually had a middle schooler at a youth group I was at last night. She said her favorite dessert was steamed broccoli, and I was like, strange, but okay, I'll take it. And then offering water as a default beverage. So trying to stay away from those giant liters of soda or the pre-sweetened tea and just sticking with water. Even if you buy a lemon, slice it up, toss it in there, it makes it a little bit more fun, but it's still healthy. And then the beverage guidelines. So trying to offer some of these healthier beverages like water. It's less than 10 calories a serving, water is, just in case you're wondering. Fat-free or low-fat milk or milk alternatives, fruit juice with no added sweeteners, and then if it's other beverages, trying to stay under that 10 calories per serving. And big deal, we were recently awarded the American Heart Association Bronze Level Workplace Health Achievement Recognition Award. I don't know if I was supposed to go this far, but okay. I'm going to take all the credit here. But we were recently awarded this, so let's keep it going and have those healthy meetings and keep promoting this in our schools because that's awesome. You guys are amazing. One of only 4 districts across the state that actually got this award, which is huge. So let's get up to the silver level next year. Okay. Oh, really?
It's just resources slide.
Oh, and here's some resources. So the Healthier Generation store. So we have that Amazon store, setting up an Amazon business account if you want to do that, and then the Healthy Workplace Food and Beverage Toolkit. And again, this will be coming out for you.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Katie. Thanks, Sarah. All right, so we'll just wrap it up here, make sure to get you guys out of here on time. So important piece, compensation. So your compensation for being Worksite Wellness Champion. It is a little bit different this year. Instead of, some of you might be thinking reward cards, oh, that brings back bad memories. But fingers crossed it's going to go smoothly this year. So what we're going to do is provide you, the good news is in the past years you've had to wait till May to receive anything. And this year, what finance is telling me they'll be able to do is we'll be able to give you $100 in December and then $100 in May, but it will be as a reward card as opposed to just showing up on your paycheck. So it'll be nice. Hopefully, we'll be able to get it to you right before the holidays, that first 100. And then keep in mind too, there's a few sites that are sharing this role, so you'll be sharing the stipend as well. But we are hopefully going to be able to get it to you in those 2 separate pieces. Healthy Kids Club resources. So again, kind of crossing over into the student wellness and worksite wellness things that are available. I sent this out to you, but just wanted to remind you tomorrow is the last day to sign up for like the Kindness Heroes program or the 5210 Health Heroes. There's those various programs I sent out to you, and tomorrow is the last day to sign up. Health Nut of the Month. So I put the nomination form for Health Nut of the Month and Administrator/Supervisor Nut of the Quarter. The nomination forms in your packet there, and just encouraging you to submit those so we can recognize people for their supporting wellness. Facebook page promotion. So if you haven't liked our page already, it's just facebook.com/D6 Worksite Wellness. And honestly, that probably stays more updated than our webpage. So if you're a Facebooker, definitely recommend liking that, and you'll get some additional information through that. So handouts, just kind of, I think this was more of a note for myself to make sure I got everything in there, but I think I've talked about everything. Job description, PCP sign-off is that doctor sign-off, health nut nominations, EAP posters, make sure to grab those on your way out, and then the various mental health resources that we discussed. This is just a slide reviewing what the Health Nut of the Month program is, but I think most of you are aware of that. If not, you can check this out when I send the slides out. And then finally, I know a few of you were able to take advantage of the chair massages before the meeting today, and wanted to let you know that the deal through the Academy of Natural Therapy is continuing this year for D6 employees. So if you wanted to have something like this at your work site, if you had a budget for this, they do $1 per minute chair massages on site, 1 hour minimum. So if that somehow worked out on a PD day or something like that, that's an option. And then if you go to the actual academy, you can get a $25 1 hour massage with a student therapist. That's normally $40. And then you can use their 20-foot hot salt water pool, which I've heard is pretty amazing. But you do need to make sure when you call to ask for the student therapist and let them know about the D6, that you're a D6 employee. Otherwise, you'll end up with not a student therapist and won't be as cheap. So I have the contact information on there, or you can just give them a call and just make sure you have your district ID. Any questions? Yes, I'm sending you the slideshow, yeah.
So you said to hold off on submitting the contract for student wellness.
Student wellness. Yep.
Should we still wait on that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're getting some things approved through finance. Yeah, I know, it's confusing. Yes, so for student wellness, hold off on that. All right, so thank you so much.